Hey, welcome. I know that you are all rushing in to join this room. So I'll give you a couple minutes, a couple seconds to get settled in here. As you're joining, just in the chat, if you could tell me where you're joining from, what your favorite dessert is, okay, and your name. I could probably see your name, but just introduce yourself so that other people can see you in here as well. We'll give people a chance to get here, get settled. I know people are getting the links, and we're going to jump into the information very quickly. I actually spent about 16 hours straight building this entire thing from scratch based on everything that I've learned. If we haven't met, I'll introduce myself as we go along. But I'm pumped to be here, and this is going to be one of those days. I remember when I heard life-changing information, November 3rd, 2020. And again, I'll walk you through some of my journey, but I love giving free information because I built my first couple businesses on completely free information, right? And then after you have the information, you can decide what you want to do with it. So I'm excited that you're all here. And if you're just hopping in, introduce yourself in the channel or in the chat, name, where you're based, and what your favorite dessert is. Okay. I'm a tiramisu guy, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm a creme brulee guy, Tuesday, Thursday. On the weekends, I'm a Snickers ice cream guy. So those are my favorite desserts. But we're going to jump in about 10 seconds here. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. And once I share my screen, so, this is a pretty interactive day. Okay. You'll probably sense it as we go through. But once I share my screen, I want to know that you can see it. So just in the chat, all I want you to type is "let's go." Okay. So as soon as I share my screen and you can see it, just type in the chat, "let's go." And we're going to kick it off. Okay. So let's go and open up this. Make sure that you can see it. I'm going to share my screen here. Amazing. And I'm going to present. There we go. Okay. If you can see my screen, you know what to do. Okay, let's go. All done, Carl. Amazing. So listen, this is going to feel very fast. Okay. You're not going to get everything, but I want you to make sure that you walk away with one piece of information that you will apply. Okay. Very important. You're not going to get everything. This is, 13 years or something of everything that I've learned. Okay. And so I want to make sure that, you don't feel overwhelmed or behind or whatever else that it is. And just make sure that you can actually walk away with something that's going to be very impactful for you. Okay. Perfect. So to get the most out of this masterclass, I need you to remove all distractions for the next 60 minutes. Okay. The second thing is I want you to start applying what you learn, whatever it is that you take away, start applying it within the next 24 hours. There's something called the law of diminishing intent, which means as soon as you get off this, life is going to start happening and your intent is going to start dropping. Okay. And so do something within the next 24 hours. And the third thing is take detailed notes, stay right till the end, because I'm going to, do a Q&A at the end, but I'm also going to be giving away 3 exclusive bonuses. And I've never given these away before. These are the most impactful things that I've seen in the last 2 years that I find if I can solve for people, it is going to change this velocity at which they can get results. So I'm going to be giving those away at the end. And so you're here, which means that you have probably had one of these thoughts. Now, as I go through these thoughts, I just want to know which ones resonate with you in the chat. Okay. So here's the first one. This was one for me back in 2019 before I started posting on LinkedIn. But LinkedIn seems cringe and pretentious to me, but I'm curious how people are using it to generate revenue. Like, this was one of the thoughts that I had. It was always people just, announcing jobs. I'm so delighted to have been accepted by Google, right? The second thought is, I feel like I know enough to teach other people or companies, but I don't know how to turn that into a highly profitable business. Okay. So you could be skilled at anything, right? And maybe you just don't know how to, make that into something profitable. And that's a thought that you're coming in with. The third is I have a side hustle that makes some money. I saw a bunch of people before this, have side hustles, but not enough to allow me to leave my 9 to 5 one day. And I just want to be free. Okay. This was something for me that was very close. Like, I wanted to be free. I wanted to leave corporate early. Maybe you've been a coach or a consultant for years, but you've been struggling to get leads, right? So getting leads has been a grind, and you're probably thinking, how do I get better quality leads on LinkedIn without spending too much money? Okay. We're going to talk about today how to spend zero money. And I have some of my top founders here that are going to share their stories that started from scratch. Okay. Maybe you're thinking my business is already doing well, but we know that we're missing opportunities on LinkedIn. Okay. I just talked to a very, very big company, raised millions of dollars. They had zero LinkedIn strategy, and we sat down, consulted them, and immediately you could see the takeoff in the number of customers that they were getting. So maybe you're already thinking this. Maybe you're thinking, I have an offer or business, but it's not high ticket, right? Maybe I have a course, ebook, right? Or just something that's not high ticket. And I want to learn how to charge more and scale my business to 6 or 7 figures, right? Or maybe you're thinking, I have no clue what to offer, but I want to build a business for myself. Will LinkedIn work even if I'm starting from zero? And I have some starting from zero people here and some starting from zero information that's going to help you answer this question. This is one I get a lot. Does LinkedIn pay me to create content like YouTube and Instagram? How exactly do people get paid by doing this, by posting on LinkedIn? Another super common one, I have a job, but I don't want my company to know I'm building a business. I don't want my boss to know I'm building a business. So how do I use LinkedIn without my boss knowing? Right? Super common one. And then here's one of the last ones. I want to become a thought leader, a speaker, an author, and more. I know I need to be on LinkedIn. I'm just not sure where to start with maybe building your personal brand, right? And so these are all valid thoughts. We're going to cover all of this. But first, I need you to know something, which is, who this training is actually for. I don't believe anything can be for everyone. Okay. So this is for business owners, entrepreneurs, founders who want to be thought leaders and scale without burning out. Okay. LinkedIn is very efficient in terms of the input versus the output you get. Okay. And so this is one of the key things, if that's one of the parameters you have. Second is, you're a high performing employee who wants to build a business to one day replace your income so that you can leave your 9 to 5, or like some of my students that actually love their jobs, stay if you're happy, right? So that you can have the choice. This is also for coaches, consultants, service providers that are struggling to attract and convert quality leads without spending on ads or doing TikTok dances or 5 posts a day on Instagram, right? And genuinely, the last part, which is kind of where I was, is anyone with a desire to use entrepreneurship as a means to have more time, more financial freedom, and to live life on their own terms. Okay. So this is who this training is for. These are the parameters I built this training with. Okay. And so I'm not here to necessarily sell you anything today. I'm just going to walk you through the data, the strategies, the tactics that I've worked for hundreds of entrepreneurs, right? And I just want you to understand that this information has changed a lot of lives, including my life. And I get to go to weddings and visit people's homes, meet their kids, right? I get to see them become healthier mentally, physically, and literally change the trajectory of their lives because they received the information that I received, and I was able to then share with them. So I'm on a mission to share it with 100,000 people this year, right? And I want to share it for free because I got a lot of my information for free when I was getting started in my journey. And so by the end of the session, you will understand exactly how to build or start building credibility and trust on LinkedIn. You'll understand how to create a high ticket coaching or consulting offer or any type of offer that is high ticket. Okay. But we're going to talk about this today. And then how to build a high converting funnel that gets clients. Okay. These are the goals that I have for you today. So if we haven't met before, you're likely wondering who I am and why on earth you should listen to me. My name is Toby Oluwole. I was born in Lagos, Nigeria. I moved to Canada at 15 years old as an international student. This is me in my little suit as a 4-year-old, 5-year-old. And this is me in like my first or second year in Canada. Okay. And I played varsity soccer at Carleton University, where I went, and I basically sold iPhones and hoverboards on the side. So again, this is, me, 17-year-old Toby, playing, varsity soccer. And this is when, I was selling hoverboards and got featured in the Ottawa Sun. You can still look this up. I looked it up yesterday. And then once I graduated, I actually got into tech sales. I worked in tech sales for 4 years. After my first year, I was laid off. After my second year, I was fired. So I very quickly knew entrepreneurship was going to be for me, and that I was probably a very terrible employee. Okay. I think the signs were there very early. Okay. And so I ended up getting married in 2019. I was 24. It's my beautiful wife. And I spent 2 months living out of my car because as soon as we got married, we somehow got kicked out of the apartment we had secured. And so we were just like, staying in friends' places, going back and forth with, our friends, our old place. And it was so chaotic. Like, I still ask my wife, like, why she said yes. She said she saw something in me, which is great. But we started from, I would literally say, like, nothing. Okay. And so I remember cashing in a $4,000 credit card to just like get through the wedding. And that's literally where we started. I was 24, I was super young. Okay. And then in 2020, so the next year, I joined Shopify on my 7th attempt, and my life absolutely changed because the next week I learned a framework to start creating content. And I now teach that framework in all of my programs. But I made a post on LinkedIn in June of 2020. So I joined Shopify May of 2020. I made a post in June of 2020 that got 300,000 impressions. Okay. 300,000 views. Right. So this was one of the first posts I made that actually got 300,000 views. I made another one about my sister that got another 300,000 or 400,000 views. And then I made another one about my brother, right? This one actually had like 500,000 impressions. So very quickly, I was like, okay, something crazy is happening here, because I was already running a business that was doing $11,000 a year, amazing. But we were like running out. We didn't know how to get leads. We were trying to do ads. We didn't know how to run them. I remember we bought chalk and we were like writing on sidewalks, like, we'll help you get a job. Like, we had no idea what was happening. And then I started posting on LinkedIn, and I was getting hundreds of thousands of views and tens of leads, thousands of messages. And I immediately was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to post here every day at 10 a.m. indefinitely. And let's see what happens. Well, here's what happens. I added my first 1,000 connections completely manually, by the way, like just connecting manually. And then the content did the rest. So, this is, when I started in 2020, okay, I'd done maybe some job updates and things like that, nothing crazy. And this is my content, my stats as of yesterday, right? So almost 300 million impressions. I've only done 1,340 posts or something like that. 3 million reactions and, 330,000 followers or something like that, right? And so the content basically, did the rest in terms of taking me from, zero to where I am now. And so I now have about 328 to 330,000 followers. And it took me 4 years to get here, right? I get, 2 to 5 million impressions every single week on my content. But I say all this to say, like, I'm a very normal person. Like I didn't do anything spectacular before I started posting on LinkedIn, but I have been doing this for 1,340 days. Okay, so I've been very consistent. And so I ended up learning how to then turn that attention into business and into revenue. And so I grew multiple businesses past the $300,000 mark while I was working full time at Shopify. Okay. And I was just using LinkedIn. I didn't know anything about ads or any of that stuff. I was just posting every day and then building a really good funnel to get people into my businesses. And then Business Insider reached out and asked me to share my story. And so if you look this up right now, there's a Business Insider article where I tell them how I was working at LinkedIn full time or at Shopify full time. I had built my audience to about 100,000 followers in 2022. I was running a career bootcamp, and I was doing about $5,000 to $8,000 a month outside of my 9 to 5. Okay, and so Shopify had like a 90-day work from anywhere policy. So I was just traveling, working, building my business. And so finally, when I was earning twice as much as my income, right? My businesses were paying me twice as much as my salary in 2023. And then I basically quit my job. Me and my wife both worked at Shopify. So we both quit our jobs right before our anniversary. And we bought our dream home before we quit because we're smart and not idiots. And we basically retired from corporate at 28 years old. Okay. And in 2024, I hired my COO, Callie, and she has changed my life. We started a company called Magnate, and it was just the two of us last year working full time on this. And we actually scaled our business to $1 million in 12 months. So you can see we actually started here in January, right? Very quickly started hitting some bigger months and then finished really strong in December. And we had a year that was, beyond our wildest dreams, and we didn't have employees. It was, like I said, the two of us just building this company. And we had multiple offers within the company, coaching, consulting. And so in, October, I got invited to the LinkedIn office to meet the team and collaborate on some projects for 2025. This is my friend Danny, who leads some of the editorials at LinkedIn, so LinkedIn News and things like that. And then I got invited to teach an MBA course on personal branding with the founders of like Lime and Eventbrite and YouTube and Waze and some other really interesting entrepreneurs that I didn't, when they talk about imposter syndrome, this is when, this was the set that we were in. It was like a $30,000 rig. I was like way in over my depth, I didn't think that's the right saying, but it just felt so surreal. And so I got to teach this, which was really cool. And now I get to work with some of my favorite athletes and brands, consulting them on their LinkedIn strategy. So this was just a couple days ago, Patrice Evra, who's one of my favorite players, reposted, we're bringing him to LinkedIn and a few other really cool athletes. And so I've loved that this small commitment has led to just incredible opportunities, right? And so I get to do some things that I really love. I've worked with brands that whether it's on brand deals or consulting them or whatever it is, been featured in publications that I'm saying all this just to show you how far 1,340 days of doing something has taken me. Okay. And so I still own 4 businesses. I have my personal brand business where we do all our brand deals and speaking. We have Magnate, where we do all of our, consulting, and we invest in companies. We have Founders Blueprint, which is our accelerator. And then we have Magnet Studio, which is where we work with athletes and other really cool people, bringing them to LinkedIn. And now I get to travel the world. I live in Paris most of the year. I get to do some really cool things, with my wife. We bought my mom a car last year. I took my dad to watch Arsenal, his favorite team, our favorite team. I traveled quite a bit with my friends. We had our first Christmas all together as a family in 11 years because, I moved to Canada. This is my little mastermind group in Spain. This is me in the Arsenal locker room and me and my wife in Morocco. So we get to live life on our terms, which is really the goal. I always say money is just the means, right? Money is the means, content is the tool, freedom is the goal, okay? And so every quarter I get to work with a handful of founders to start and scale their businesses using LinkedIn. And these founders that have come through our accelerators have generated more than 60 million in combined revenue in the last 2.5 years. We have 7 that have done more than 1 million. And so there's a lot that has come out of this decision. And that's why I share it so freely. There's an old, Bible verse I used to love as a kid. It said, you were given freely, so give freely. And I feel like that's what I now get to do. So I have one job today, which is to present you with the strategies that have generated over $60 million for coaches, consultants, business owners with LinkedIn. It took me more than 13 years of entrepreneurship and 1,334 or whatever days I'm on right now. And if you apply this, it might take you half or a quarter or even a tenth of the time to get maybe better results. I have a lot of students that were able to beat me in terms of how fast they got to some of these milestones. So what makes LinkedIn so different? What makes the LinkedIn opportunity so different? The first thing is that LinkedIn was the original social media that was created. Like 2003, LinkedIn was established. This was the first ever LinkedIn site. It was always designed to be a professional network, right? It was never designed to be where you share pictures or stories or anything like that. It was a professional network. That is what it was created for. And so it was also the only social media with direct consequences. It still is, right? Like it's tied to your income. You say something on LinkedIn, you can get fired, right? And so it's such an interesting place in terms of why it's so serious. And the other thing with LinkedIn is they don't necessarily care about creators because they make all of their money from companies. Companies pay for recruiter licenses. Companies pay for, ads on LinkedIn, right? So they don't have a creator fund or anything like that. And they don't pay creators, right? So it's a very unique opportunity in that sense, but it's been reborn in the last 5-6 years. You're seeing this is Steph Curry, Snoop Dogg is on LinkedIn. He's posting on LinkedIn. Okay. So it's so interesting. Okay. Reese Witherspoon is on LinkedIn. Gary Neville is on LinkedIn. Odell Beckham Jr. is on LinkedIn. Okay. Ilkay Gundogan is a Man City players on all of these people are all of a sudden coming to LinkedIn, and it's recent. I don't know if you've seen this, but Reese Witherspoon came to LinkedIn recently. Okay, but here's why it's even more special. It's not just for the big names; it's for anyone that's willing to write. Right. So this is my friend Linda, who went to 500,000 followers in only a couple of years, 2 years or something like that. This is one of our top founders, Noah, started at 500 connections, now at 27,000 followers. This is Julia, who's another one of our founders, started, again, very, very small, just past 50,000 followers on LinkedIn. This is one of my friends, Timo, who sold his company, now at 160,000 connections or followers on LinkedIn. This is a doctor, one of my friends, Dr. Miro Bada, and he's in Texas, and this doctor has 250,000 followers on LinkedIn. Okay, so these are all normal people. Breeze, one of my friends as well, who I worked with for her company, 240,000 followers on LinkedIn. These are normal people. Very likely you have never heard their names. Okay, so this is a shift that's happening. And so the opportunity is in the arbitrage. It's in the fact that 49% of people post on Facebook, right? 42% post on Instagram, stories, posts, family, things like that, right? 25% of TikTok users are responsible for 98% of all the content. And on LinkedIn, it is 1%. 1%, about 13 million to 60 million people create content on LinkedIn versus 25% on TikTok, 42% on Instagram, 49% on Facebook. This opportunity is just because of the numbers. It is because it is so early. That is why it is actually possible. Okay. So if you can hear me, I just need you to type 1%. 1%. Okay. If you can still hear me. Okay. Just type 1%. This is the real opportunity, is in the fact that there's just massive gap between what's happening on LinkedIn and what's going on the other channels. Okay. So, okay, perfect. You're still with me. Now, here's what's even better. LinkedIn has the best leads, right? So LinkedIn has over 1 billion users, 140 million people log in every day. 60 million of those people are decision makers, VPs, CEOs, right? Decision makers in their companies, right? It's the most trusted social platform. You have to verify yourself a lot of times with like a passport, okay? And it gives you the most data about leads. You can see what someone looks like, where they work, what they're working on, where they're located, right? You can see mutual connections you have. You can see their website, their email, right? Some people have their numbers on it. Like no other social media platform gives you that much verified information for free. You can see how long they've worked, where they've worked, what titles they've had, right? This is not normal, right? Like if you've ever gotten a lead from like Instagram or TikTok, you know that this is not normal. Okay. You can see everything for free. And that's what makes this so different. Okay. And so this is the only platform that allows any person or company to attract attention and leads without having to post 3 times a day or create videos every day or be an extrovert on camera or spend thousands of dollars on ads or even have a business or offer when you start. Okay. And what about all the skepticism about, coaches and consultants? I always, all these people, oh my God, I don't want to be a coach. All these career coaches and, they're so skeptical of like coaching and consulting. And I'm just like, guys, please, your greatest athletes, CEOs, and singers and actors have coaches. You may not have heard of them. You can Google them. They have coaches. Beyonce literally worked with David Lee Brewer for years, from when she was like 14. Mike has been with LeBron for years. They've won titles together. Bill Campbell coached Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos, Larry and Sergey Brin. They call him the $1 trillion coach. There's literally a book called The $1 trillion Coach. So the best athletes, singers, CEOs need coaches, which means normal people need coaches too. So we need to like completely debunk this right now. Normal people need coaches too, right? So as a career coach, you're helping people get higher compensation, get into management, get promotions. That's life-changing. We couldn't buy our house if we hadn't gotten a better job, right? We couldn't ever have, I would never have bought my mom a car if I didn't have more income, right? And so career coaching is the business of life change. There's business coaches, right? I've worked with business coaches. I'm going to tell you at the end how much I've spent with business coaches, but that help you with marketing, operations, sales. Essential, right? There's executive coaches, right? That help with strategy and leadership and finance and networking and funding and all of these other things. Like coaches are essential. So we need to debunk this. I don't want to be a coach thing. You are in the business of life change. Now, what about consulting? Well, I just don't want to tell people what to do. Like, is that really something valuable? Like, people, consulting is a $1 trillion industry, 1 trillion with a T. Deloitte, 67 billion. Accenture, 59 billion. PwC, 55 billion. EY, 51 billion, 38 billion. These are ginormous numbers. And understand that it was $1 trillion in 2023. In 2016, it was 250 billion. The entire consulting sector, it has quadrupled in the last 7 years. This is growing. Okay. And then the final thing is entrepreneurship is the new safety net. Think about it, right? Look at this spike from 2020. Look how many people started registering businesses, 5.4 new businesses in 2023 alone, right? Entrepreneurship is the new path to freedom. The barrier to entry is extremely low, right? Social media is free for marketing. You don't need billboards and radio ads and TV ads and Super Bowl ads. You can just post. AI makes it possible to build it even faster. We used AI the whole of last year, which is why we were able to stay such a small team, right? And then jobs are disappearing every single day. I know some extremely smart people that have been out of jobs for 18 months. Okay. And so there's never been a better time to explore entrepreneurship. So the question is how to, essentially, how do you get in on what is already happening, right? This question, it just completely threw me off how I wrote it. How do you get in on what is already happening? Okay. So we're going to go into LinkedIn for all of my people here. Okay. we're about to jump into it. Okay. So step one is when you go and create your LinkedIn profile, if you have a LinkedIn profile right now, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to turn your profile into a landing page. Your profile is essentially a website. Okay. This is the banner, right? You can put some testimonials up here like Noah did. You can put a little slogan up here so that people know what you do immediately, right? This is Jet, design work to fit your life. This is what Jet does. Okay. Nice picture with a smile so people can see you. Trust is important. Use the tagline to tell them what you do, what you help with, right? Make sure there's a logo, whether for the company you work for or your own company. Create a logo for it and then use the free link to drive people into your funnel. Turn your profile into a landing page. The easier it is to see you, the easier it is to talk to you, the more leads you're going to get. Some of you want more leads, and I can't find any way to book a call with you. Okay? So taglines make all of the difference, right? So this is Chandler, one of the founders in our program, helping seasoned residential realtors who love real estate land a six-figure role with a national retailer without working nights and weekends. Like, what an incredible tagline. Okay? This is Angela, helping mid-senior analytics and marketing job seekers get unstuck in the job search, right? This is my friend Adam. He was one of the first ever students or founders that I ever coached, right? Trusted by 10 million ARR brands for video that converts, right? How incredible is that? And this is Susan. I think Susan's here, right? I help tech startups grow from 0 to 1, right? And so the tagline makes all the difference. You need to put a CTA in there so people can very quickly get in front of you, okay? And then we go into your featured section, which is the second most important part of your profile. The feature section is where you can give away free resources in exchange for an email, right? Job boards, list of, I met this guy, he's an investor. And what he does is he gives away a list of all the investors he's ever met in like a little Notion doc in exchange for emails. He does it twice a month. He gets 10,000 emails every quarter. Just doing that. Okay. So LinkedIn is your borrowed audience. Emails are your owned audience. Okay. So you can use your feature section to show client work, testimonials, right? Free resources, collect emails, make it easy for people to talk to you, right? Simple lead magnet with a call link, simple call link with a lead magnet. This is Donovan, who owns a law firm. He's like, I haven't gotten a lead on LinkedIn for like 3 years. We optimize this profile week 1. We get a message. Guys, I got a lead. Like, yeah, if it's easy for people to talk to you, they talk to you. Okay. So the next thing is they're going to look at your content. And this is where a lot of people miss it. They're going to look at your content, right? And your content is what builds trust with your audience. They want to see how you think, who you are, what you post about, your beliefs, your philosophy, what you care about. They want to see all of that. Okay. And so it's very important that you are creating content on a daily basis. It does not matter how many followers and impressions you get. What matters is every day, one new person is introduced to you and your content. Okay. And then they're going to go into your experience. And this is why you have to create a free page with a logo. You don't know how to make a logo? Go to Canva, type logo, and make a free one that's black and white and create a page with it. That's why all of my companies start with black and white, because I created with 3 skills. I created that logo on my phone in minutes. It doesn't matter. Apple's logo is literally an apple that's bitten. Just create a logo, get it off the ground. It makes a massive difference. Okay. It makes you legitimate. This is our top founder, 2.2 million in total revenue. Okay. Was a VP before this, built his own company, right? And literally simple blue and white logo. Get it off the ground. Okay. So if you're still here with me, okay, just type landing page and we're going to keep going. Okay. Turn your profile into a landing page. You are wasting the leads. I have one student last year, one founder last year, who got 76 leads only 76 leads, only 76 leads to generate $400,000 in revenue. Only 76 leads. So it's not a question of, if you have 1,000 followers, you can get 76 leads. If you have 500 followers, you can get 76 leads. Okay. All right. Let's go to step 2. Step 2 is expand your network to expand your reach. Okay. Expand your network to extend your reach. As soon as you get going on LinkedIn, I'm talking about like right after this, or if you're just starting, drop all of the embarrassment and shame and go and connect with everybody that LinkedIn suggests for you to connect. Okay. Go to your network. It's going to say, here are all the people you know from Carleton University. Here's a couple groups you can join that talk about the things that you like. The Physicians of New York. Join the group and connect with people. Connect with people. Well, I don't know them. Nobody knows you. There's nothing to like, nobody knows you. So go and connect with them. You're going to, how you get to know people? By connecting with them, right? Well, I don't know what's the point of connecting with people you don't know. Guys, how do you know that they don't know someone that needs your services? How do you know they don't need your services? How does it even make sense? Like, how do you expand? You can't, if you only sell as a business to people you know, you're going to run out of people to sell to. Okay? And LinkedIn published data that if you just connect without a message, people are more trusting of that connection request because they don't think you're about to sell them something. You literally just hit connect. LinkedIn will allow you to do 50 to 100 connections per day. In our program, we give you an automation tool that does that very specifically. So if you want, you can connect with only VPs in Toronto in finance, and it will automatically send 50 connections a day, right? So we have that tool, but we started off manual. Just do it manually. Literally click on connect. Okay. And so here's what a lot of people miss is a lot of your customers are going to be second degree connections. You might not even know the person that sees your content, but by liking it, it shows it to someone that might be within your niche. Okay. The second thing you want to do to expand your reach is go and subscribe to 5 large creators in your industry or your space, and then comment early on their posts. Hit the little bell icon, comment early on their posts, because look how many followers Justin has. I just met Justin in Europe not too long ago. Incredible guy. He was the first person I saw on LinkedIn. He had 80,000 followers when I was starting. And I remember thinking, if I ever got to 80,000 followers, I'd change my life, right? So when Justin posts and 1,000, 2,000 people show up within the first hour, if you are one of the first comments, a lot of those people are going to see your name. They're going to go, oh, I like that thought. What an incredible thought. What a great way to look at this, right? And so now you are getting more exposure, right? Look how many interactions and comments and reposts. Every time someone reposts, your comment goes with it, right? I once had a person comment on one of my posts, and the comment got 300 likes. The comment got 300 likes, right? So this is incredible exposure. This is how you become part of the fabric of LinkedIn, become part of the community. You're in data, go find 5 of the biggest data creators and start commenting on their stuff. You're in healthcare, it doesn't matter. There's someone that's big in whatever you're doing already. We're not gonna recreate the wheel here. Okay. We're going to connect. Okay. I've helped dating coaches, health coaches. It doesn't matter, because everyone with a career has a life outside the career. They have kids, they go to the gym, they need to budget, they have finances, they have bank accounts, they need insurance, they need a house to stay in, so they need a realtor. Everybody has a life. Okay. And so you just accept connection requests. Now, some of you are going, well, there's no point. I want to make sure that I know everybody, that LinkedIn is not your real life. By accepting the connection request, you're not bringing them into your house to meet your kids and giving them tea. Okay? You're just accepting that someone's going to see your content. I have 330,000 followers. Do you genuinely believe that I know 330,000 people, or that 330,000 people know where I live or what I do on a day-to-day basis? This is not your real life. Connect with people, accept the freaking request, and let people like your content and show it to other people. Okay? That's step 2. Okay? So I just need you to comment, connect. Okay? Just comment, connect. Okay? It's so important. I had this hesitation when I was starting. It's like, I remember the first person that told me connect with 1,000 people. I was like, I don't know 1,000 people. He's like, exactly. So connect with them. Right? If you're here and you're going, I want to build a business, I've tried, I used to do network marketing years ago. And they always tell you, you got to sell these knives and shakes and protein shakes to all of your friends, your immediate network. Do you want to know what happened after about the 3rd meeting? All of my friends stopped picking up my calls, because you can't just sell to people you know. It does not work long term. You will make $500. Okay. So we're going to go to step 3. You're going to share your origin story. People go, what's my origin story? Well, there are all these moments in your life that shaped you. So for me, like moving to Canada at 15 years old against my will, playing varsity soccer, playing at the Chelsea Stadium. I played at Stamford Bridge, did trials there, right? And my dream was to be a soccer player. Didn't quite work out that way, right? Getting married, joining Shopify, buying my first home, buying my second home, right? Getting fired, getting laid off, right? All of these things are part of my origin story. There is no Toby without these stories. Each of those stories is about 5 to 10 posts for you. So think about it. If you have 20 stories and each story is 10 posts, because every story has a different angle, right? So I got into Shopify, but I didn't just get into Shopify. I got into Shopify on my 7th attempt. That's another angle. And the recruiter gave me the job in 8 days. That's another angle, right? And I ended up meeting a boss that had turned me down the last 3 times. She became my boss. That's another angle. I got promoted in 18 months, right? Like there's all these angles to every single story, okay? And so you're going to share your origin story and you're going to share it every month. So this is one of the founders that just joined the program. I'm talking weeks ago, okay? He did this post, right? He said, I travel to Brazil with my wife every single year. It's a promise I made to her even before we got married. It's a picture of him and his wife. Very simple post. Super spaced out, because content that's easy to read is easy to like. Okay, if I can read it easily, I can engage with it easily. If it's all bunched up, I can't engage with it. I got work. Okay, and so this is the post. This is the picture he shared with this post, 6 days ago. And then in our Slack with all the founders, we get this message. Hi, Toby. I got my first lead. I updated my LinkedIn profile last week. I emphasize on helping women go through major life changes and need help with their budget. He runs a budgeting company, right? So he's a service provider. Okay. I created a Calendly discovery call, put the link in my bio. I also started to expand my network with Dripify in North America, connected with people, right? Where I could find my niche. This morning, I posted about going to Brazil every year with my wife. And guess what? A Brazilian woman in Canada booked the discovery call with me for Wednesday. So 2 things. First is big thank you for showing us the way. The more I slow down, the more I enjoy this program. So listen, this is like first lead. And the first lead, because of what we teach in terms of pricing, which I'm going to walk you through here, ended up wanting to pay 3 times his original price point, because that's what it was worth when he went through the sales process. Okay. So understand that this works when you build trust with your own story and journey. People want to interact with you. Okay. If you don't have a story to share, you can share other people's story. This is another founder that came in. She talks about how her uncle was laid off from his job after 24 years at the same company and how they ended up starting a trucking company together. And she also has, all right, look at this, coaching founders to financial clarity and tax mastery. Okay. And so she makes this post, okay, May 14th, 2024. I've literally never posted on LinkedIn. My first post from yesterday has 43,000 impressions, 780 engagements. It ended up at 1,800 engagements. Okay. I gained 80 followers, several messages to connect with procurement officers in transportation and logistics, and 3 consultation calls scheduled for Friday. I'm excited and nervous, but ready to get to work. Thanks, Toby, for your guidance, and shout out to this cohort for inspiration and support. Listen, she ended up generating her first sale in 36 days. This post it's not even her picture. This is her uncle drinking it's not a can of Coke. I always thought that was a bottle of Coke. It's just holding the keys to their trucking company. Okay, so you can share other people's story that you know, but understand this: no transaction happens without trust. This is from 1 day ago. Okay, Sarah tells her origin story, right? And then she turns it into emails for her email list. The origin story, long form, into the email list. Okay, talks about being the shyest kid in class to now being a public speaker. She uses this picture so you can see and understand the story. The best content gets people, it touches people's heads, and then it touches their hearts. Okay, it touches people's heads. We are emotional beings. So the visual you pick also makes a difference. So she sends me this message. I've written 2 long form versions of my origin story, which I've shared in the last 2 sendouts for my email newsletter. It resulted in more sales and responses than normal. Thanks, Toby, for encouraging us to share the content that evokes emotion in people. Share your origin story. Okay? There are all these things that made you who you are. Share it. So we're going to keep going. Just type origin for me. We're going to keep going. We're making good time. Okay? Step 5. Now you're going to start to position yourself as a thought leader in the space. Very important, right? The thought leader. I'm going to define this for you. What is a thought leader? A thought leader is someone who has an original thought to lead people to when something is happening. That is it. When people are talking about a conversation, talking about something that's trending, your thought, your ability to just share your thought in a concise way is what eventually makes you a thought leader. So I'm going to show you some examples, right? This is Zoltan, came through our program, works, lives in Switzerland, quit his job, didn't like it anymore, wanted to become an entrepreneur, came into the accelerator, okay? Zoltan had less than 1,000 connections. He has 20,000 followers now. How did Zoltan become a thought leader in the leadership space? Well, whenever, companies would do a layoff or, something was happening in the news, he would leverage that and he would use one of the frameworks to talk about, for this one was Nintendo, how Nintendo grew by, almost 3x, but the CEO has never laid anyone off. And his angle is the leadership of Nintendo, right? And then he pushes people into his leadership program and people go, I like the way this guy thinks, right? He puts the picture of the Nintendo CEO. This was back when he had less than 5,000 connections and 2,800 people liked this post. They had more than 100,000 impressions. Okay. So when something is trending, it means a lot of people are talking about it. It's like walking into a full stadium and actually having something important to say and someone giving you a microphone and everyone's just listening. You need to comment on things that are happening in your industry. If you're an actor, if you're a speaker, if you are a doctor, if you're a real estate agent, it doesn't matter. Something's happening, set up some Google alerts. When something's happening, where does the world go for news? Twitter, LinkedIn. Yes, they go to all the other places, but where aggregates the news? LinkedIn News gets millions of hits every day, right? So this is how I told my co-founder to do this, by the way. By day 10 of her posting consistently on LinkedIn, just 10 days, She gets featured in LinkedIn News to millions of people. The LinkedIn News page has 3 million followers. Okay, so this is how you become a thought leader. This is Corey. Corey runs an agency. His agency did $30,000 in January this year. Okay, Corey started at 600, 700 connections. Same thing. Intuit does layoffs. Corey talks about it, right? He started off by doing a leadership program, pivoted 3-4 times, found the right offer, went to scale. This post had 1,500 connections, 1,500 likes. That's not supposed to be possible, but it's possible if you are leading people towards a thought. Okay? Leading people towards a thought. Okay? So now we go to step 6. It's very possible that I missed a step. It's so funny. I just saw that in the chat. I'm not going to go back right now, but we're on track. It took me so long to build this, I may have missed a number. So here's what I need you to comment. Just in the chat, I just need you to comment thought leader. You need to become a thought leader. We're going through the steps here. By the way, this doesn't take long, okay? Just become a thought leader, okay? Thought leader, thought leader, thought leader. Something's happening, comment on it. Tesla stock crashes, you're in the financial space, comment on it. Reese Witherspoon comes into LinkedIn and you're in the personal branding space, comment on it. Beyonce wins her first Grammy. Use it as a meme, comment on it. If you are in the room when conversations are happening, you will attract people to you that are in the room, okay? So now we're going to go into how we get even more visibility. Now you're going to share what we call validated content on LinkedIn, okay? And you're going to not just repost it. You're banned from reposting. You're going to take the content and you're going to add your original thoughts to it. So this was Sue. Sue had 300 followers, right? When she started this program, 300 connections, had never posted on LinkedIn, mother of 2, wanted to build something so she could quit her job 3 years from now, okay? And so I made this post on LinkedIn. It had 22,000 likes because everybody hates getting ghosted. This is what I call a universal experience. Everyone hates getting ghosted. Everyone prefers getting feedback. So I make this post. Please stop ghosting candidates. Any feedback is better than no feedback. Sue right-clicks, saves the image, uploads it to LinkedIn, and then puts her ghosting story. Okay? Do you understand that? She didn't just repost like, hey, I agree with that. How do you become a thought leader? How do you become the person that people go to and people trust? By sharing your original thoughts. So she used validated content. This post is already viral, 22,000 likes, right? And so by just taking it and leveraging it and leaving all of the credit to me. So she tags me here, gives me credit by leaving it here. She didn't crop me out and pretend like this is her thought, right? But it's like when Bill Gates quotes Steve Jobs. That's literally what you're doing here. You're leveraging credibility, okay? Here's another example. This is David. This post has 2 lines. Your boss has more impact on your mental health than your therapist. If you trust people enough to hire them, trust them enough to get their jobs done. He tags this creator, Rob Dance, right? 2,000 likes. Why does this have 2,000 likes? Because when Rob posted this original image, it had 40,000 likes. It's already validated. It's already validated. Okay? So because you're using content that's already been validated, instead of reposting it, you're posting it on your page. You're saving the image, uploading the image, putting your original thoughts on it. You get all of this attention. This post had 200,000 impressions. 200,000 impressions. Okay? And so here's what happens. Because all of that attention is here, David puts a link to his project management program and starts collecting emails because 200,000 people are there. This is how you get leads. This is how you get leads, right? So if I do a post that gets 22,000 likes. Like I have a post going right now that has 20,000 likes. It has 6 million impressions. If you take that post and you put your original thoughts on it, because that post is already doing well, because people already resonate with it, it's more likely to be seen by more people. And now that all these people have shown up, all we have to do is turn them to leads. So understand this about this whole content piece. Nobody cares about you or what you're selling. It's your job to get them to care. And how? By sharing validated content, by sharing your origin story, by connecting with people. It's your job to get people to care by commenting on things that are happening in the news, in your industry. That is how you become a thought leader. Is it plagiarism? No, because you're still giving them credit, right? You're not cutting them out. What is plagiarism? It's pretending like this is your content. That's plagiarism. But no, you're saying, hey, I actually love this thought by Toby. I love this thought by Beatrice. Here's what I need to say about it. It's literally like Steve Jobs quoting Bill Gates, or Bill Gates quoting Steve Jobs. He's not stealing what Steve Jobs' experience was. He's just referencing it. Okay. So here's what I want you to do, because this is the end of the content piece. Now we're going to talk about the money piece. Okay. I need you to write down 10 of the most impactful things that have happened in your career and life. Okay. All of your best content lives on memory lane. All of your best content lives on memory lane. Okay. So you need to write down 10 of the most impactful things that have happened in your career and life. Second thing, I want you to go through LinkedIn, just scroll until you find 5 viral posts with 2,000 plus likes and create your own version of each one of those with your own story. Okay. Create a version, each one of those with your own story. Okay. And then the third thing I want you to do is to make one post tomorrow. Just make a post tomorrow. You're like, oh, but it's the weekend or it's the week. It doesn't matter. Make one post tomorrow. Okay. And so you can take a screenshot of this. Okay. I'm going to leave it. You can take a screenshot of this. This is all I want you to do. Okay. And that's going to start your journey. So let's go to step 7 or step 6 or whatever step this is, because I think I missed one. All right. So step 7. Now we're going to turn all of this attention into leads. Okay. So how do we do that? The first way we can do it is by giving something for free in exchange for emails. So this is this guy, Shan. I just found him on LinkedIn this week, right? He added 5,000 followers in 1 week by giving away things that he had packaged into Google Docs and then just locking those Google Docs behind an email collection. Okay. That's it. He just, he's giving away, okay, here's how to build a great offer. Here's how to build a great script. Here's how to build a great sales strategy. Here's how to hire correctly. All of the things that he's learned, he's just putting them into Google Docs and Notions. Instead of just sending them to people, he's giving it away in exchange for their emails. So he grew by probably 4,000 or 5,000 emails and 5,000 followers. Look how many comments this has. Okay. 1,752 people commented offer, and he was just getting their emails from it. There's going to be a replay of this. Yes. Because I know I got to keep going. All right. So you can give something in exchange. How I got my first 2,000 emails from LinkedIn is when I got into Shopify in my 7th attempt, I said, who wants to see the resume that I used to get into Shopify on my 7th attempt? And 2,000 people gave me their emails so that they could see the resume because that was valuable to them. There were about 7 or 8 people that actually used the exact same template and then got into Shopify with that same template. Like I met them. Okay. So you can find something valuable, give it away in exchange for emails. You can run a free event, a webinar, a LinkedIn Live, something, right? And just announce it in your content and collect registrations. You can use wait lists to validate your ideas, right? So this is Linda. She has a $7,000 leadership program, right? Used to work at Google and Microsoft and all these places. And so she did this post. This post got 1.6 million impressions. And she put a link here that says, join the waitlist for my group program that she hadn't built yet. We use waitlists to validate and verify if people are interested in something, engaging the interest. Okay, so she got 70 people to join a waitlist, which means people want it. This is my friend Stella, right? She got laid off from Shopify. We did a post on LinkedIn. I had no idea how to build a travel app, but that's what she wanted to build. I said, Stella, listen, if you have a wait list and you go raise money, you're going to look like you have so much traction. So why don't we do a post on LinkedIn? She's like, I've never posted on LinkedIn before. Like, I don't even know, like my picture is old even. I was like, okay, update your picture and let's just do one post and let's see how it goes. She won the LinkedIn lottery and got 1 million impressions on her first ever post and 3,000 people on a wait list for her travel app, which was just a Google Doc at the time or a Google form. Okay, so we use waitlists to validate, right? You can put a call link directly to your calendar. If the post is already doing well, you can just put a link to your Calendly for them to book a call with you if they're interested, right? Or you can tell them to DM you. This is one of our top students, Christian. He's in one of my masterminds, right? You know, I train GTM leaders and teams on social selling, and he put, you know, if you're a CXO, you're a sales leader, want to learn how to social sell, right? Just DM me or send a connection request. Let's talk. And within minutes, he starts getting DMs from VPs of sales, $100 million companies. I'm not exaggerating, because you don't know who's going to see your content. But 60 million decision makers spend time on LinkedIn, right? And so you are only right when it comes to building offers. You're only right when you have data or dollars. Okay. You are only right. There's a lot of, you know, oh, I don't know if my business is going to work and this and that. You're only right when you have data or dollars. Okay. Now, step 8. Now we're going to build a high ticket coaching, consulting, anything offer. What do the best brands have in common? You have to earn the right to get in. You have to earn the right to work with them, to buy their stuff, right? You can't just walk in like it's Walmart and just pick up some stuff. You can't just like join Harvard, okay? You have to apply and they take 3% of people or whatever it is. You can't just walk into Chanel and go, I want everything. They're not going to take you seriously, okay? So when you are building a high ticket offer, you have to build it with exclusivity and profit in mind. You have to build it with exclusivity and profit in mind. This is very important. If you're not going to build it for exclusivity and profit, just build a low ticket thing. This whole presentation is for naught, okay? Or this part of the presentation. But if you're going to build a high ticket offer, typically $2,000 to $50,000. I have some students that sell $300,000 offers to companies. I'm not exaggerating, okay? It's high. But Pepsi's marketing budget is over $1 billion. Do you think that they spend $50,000, $100,000, $1 million at a time with different agencies? Yes, right? It's a premium product or service. It's tailored to a specific audience, okay? It's focused on transformation or ROI. It's catered to customers that are willing to invest. This is very important. You cannot sell expensive stuff to people that do not want to buy expensive stuff. And I see it all the time. You're trying to sell expensive stuff to people that don't have the money to buy the expensive stuff. It's like, it doesn't make sense. You cater to customers that are willing to invest in the high ticket. You offer in-depth support, access, and personalization. And again, your emphasis is on profit instead of volume. So some of you are going, well, I don't have an offer at all. Like, how do I get started with this? Here is how you start. Everybody starts by selling their time. Everybody starts by selling their time. I started selling my time. All my students started by selling their time. $100 an hour, $50 an hour. I think I was at $50 or $100 an hour, right? $100 an hour, $50 an hour. You're selling your time. The only problem is you only have X number of hours. So I have a student that does $500 an hour. She can only do like 8 people at a time. Does that make sense? Like, this is the first level. And so your pricing can't be that high. Like you can't do $5,000 at a time, right? Like you can't, right? Like you can't say like, hey, I'm just starting, you want an hour with me, it's $5,000. You have to earn the right to charge that much. Okay, so this is for like some of the delusional people here that think that they can just wake up and charge a lot. Okay, you're going to start $100, $400, $500 an hour. Okay, then you move up and you start selling the system, right? If you do this process, you get this outcome. That's now what you're selling. Okay, now you're no longer selling your time now. Now you can sell the system. You can sell it in a group. You can sell it to different companies. You can hire someone and make sure that it gets fulfilled. But now you're selling the system. Now your pricing is a little higher. Now instead of $500 for an hour, it's $5,000, right, for 4 weeks. And it's a system that you're selling. Okay? Then you get really good at delivering the system. So for me, not only have I taught people how to create content or taught people how to post on LinkedIn, my founders have done $16 million in revenue. My companies have done over $2 million in revenue. Okay. So now we're not selling a system, we're selling a guarantee. Right? When you buy Chanel or you buy Rolls Royce, you're not just buying, maybe those are not the right examples. Let's go down a bit, right? When you go to a good restaurant, right? You go to a really good restaurant, like, I love Hakkasan in London. It's always the same. Like it's guaranteed to be good. The dim sum there is guaranteed to be good. Michelin star, it's guaranteed to be good. So you're selling at a higher price point, not just the process now. The system is not just the thing that you're selling. You're selling the guarantee that it's going to work. The guarantee that it's going to work. Okay? And then you get to the highest point. At the peak, you are selling your brand. Hormozi, Cody Sanchez, Steve Bartlett, Adam Grant, Gary, what's his name? Vaynerchuk, the brand. You just get people because of the brand, because you've spent the time, you've built the system, you've perfected the guarantee. Okay? And now you have a brand. What is a brand? It is the constant association of excellence with a number, a person, a company. That constant association is what makes you a brand. And at that point, you can charge whatever you want. It is not going to be too expensive. You know Tony Robbins. For Tony Robbins to work with, who does Tony Robbins work with? Not normal people, right? Maybe you go to a conference, but if you want one-on-one time with Tony Robbins, like Barack Obama, Nelson Mandela, and those guys, when they get one-on-one time with Tony Robbins, it's $1 million for the day. I don't have $1 million for the day. So Tony doesn't care about me. Like I'm not Tony Robbins' ideal customer. Like imagine Tony Robbins really trying to pitch me, like if you can do a 4-month payment plan on this $1 million, I will come. I'm not doing it. Tony is a brand. Okay. So this is how you ascend into high ticket. You start by selling your time, move to the system, right? Then get really good, move to the guarantee, do it long enough, you got a brand. Now you hit the big numbers. Okay. So what makes the perfect offer, right? Here's your service or expertise or knowledge here. Okay. First, you need to understand your ideal client profile. Who is the person that wants to buy at the price point and the thing that you're selling? You need to understand this person. Stop trying to sell expensive shit to people that cannot afford it. It doesn't make any sense. Offer your stuff to people that want to pay for it. Okay? Now, you need to build the right funnel for these people. Rolls-Royce does not advertise via pamphlets in your mailbox. It doesn't make sense. The lead generation funnel needs to be for the client. The pricing and payment plans needs to be for the client. Okay. Now we go to risk reversal, lifetime guarantee, right? 24-hour support. Don't ever do that, by the way. Don't ever do 24-hour or unlimited support. I'm just giving you some, examples. Money back guarantee, 100% money back guaranteed if it doesn't work. Don't pay us anything unless we get the result. That's risk reversal. Okay. Then we make sure that all these people, they're seeing the risk reversal. They're going, okay, this is probably going to work. How do they now speak to you? How do they get to you? What is the conversion funnel that you're using? And then finally, how do you fulfill on what it is that you are saying that you'll fulfill on over and over and over again in a way that works? Okay, this is what makes a perfect offer. If you cannot build this, you do not have a high ticket offer. If you do not know how to build this, you do not have a high ticket offer. Okay, and so don't try to sell expensive stuff and then not have the fulfillment mechanism figured out, right? Don't do that. You're going to ruin your reputation. And if you're going to sell something for $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, you better guarantee it's going to work, right? So this is how you now build that. So the more specific your audience is, the higher the perceived value and the higher your price point will be. How much you charge is completely dependent on who's paying, what results they get, how long it will take to get that result. Now, finally, how do you close these clients? They're interested. They came through your funnel. They like the pricing, all of that stuff. Okay. I just need you to type high ticket and we're going to take this all the way to the close. How do you get the money into your bank account and into your life so that you can actually go on and build the life that you want? Okay. High ticket. We built the high ticket offer. It works well. We started with the time. We moved into the system. We got it so good that there's a guarantee. And then we become a brand because we've done it long enough. Now we got to close. How do you close? For the love of God, qualify your leads. Qualify your leads. Stop acting like everybody is the right fit for you. It does not make sense. Qualify your leads. Name, email, phone number, LinkedIn, so you can look them up. Okay, this is Linda, right? She asks, what's the number one challenge you need help overcoming? What happens if you decide to do nothing about it? Paint me a picture. What do you want your life to look like 6 to 12 months from now? What do you believe is holding you back from achieving this on your own? And then here are the amounts of my offers, right? Here are the amounts of offers. If you cannot afford this, don't apply. Stop trying to scam people. If they can't afford it, they shouldn't apply. If they can't pay for it, they shouldn't book the call. It's okay. You are not the only service provider. There are tons. YouTube is free. TikTok is free. There are $20 courses on Udemy. There are $30 trainings online, right? There's free trainings like this. Okay. So you need to qualify your leads. Ask if this is what they want to do. Okay. What type of service are you looking for? This is my friend that runs the B2B video agency. Oh, we need help editing our content. All of the above. What's your quarterly budget? Look at where the quarterly budget starts. By the way, this friend of mine scaled his video company. He didn't get any customers for 6 months, but he was posting on LinkedIn every day. Scaled his video company to $80,000 a month. That's not an exaggeration, by the way. But why did he scale to $80,000 a month? Because he was selling to companies that had 20 to 50,000, 50 to 100,000, 100 to 200,000, $200,000 plus. He was working with companies like Shopify and Okta. They don't have $10. They have $100,000. Okay. So qualify your leads. Friction makes things feel premium. It increases the perceived value. So increase the friction to work with you. Prospects want to earn the right to invest in themselves and their businesses. Now, the second thing you want to do is you want to follow the same process every time. People can't skip the funnel. They can't skip the line. They have to go through the same funnel. They have to apply, right? You're looking for people that are looking for you. I make all of my founders follow the same 8-step script. I don't care what you are selling. You're selling $7,000 candles to sheikhs in Dubai. We're following the same process. The words might change. It's the same process. Include 3 to 4 case studies. Make sure that these people that you're talking about in your case studies look like the person you're talking to. If they're a mother of 7 or a mother of 4, and you're talking about the traveling backpacker that uses your service, how does that make sense? Do you know that subconsciously, unless you see someone that looks like you doing something, you don't believe it's possible for you? It's your subconscious that makes that decision. Okay? So answer questions before they have questions at the end, and make your script predictable and repeatable. And finally, if they are the right fit, if this is the right time, if they're willing to invest in your system or guarantee or brand, collect payment through a legitimate payment processor. I had a guy go, listen, I'm going to collect $5,000 by getting them to email me the money through e-transfer. Please, for the love of God, set up a Stripe, set up a Square. Okay, send an invoice, send a receipt, send a contract, protect yourself. It's a lot of money. Okay, and then send onboarding instructions within 24 hours, book the first call within 24 hours because of this thing called buyer's remorse. Have you ever spent so much money that the next day you just took it back? Like, what was I thinking? That happens even with companies. So get things going within 24 hours. Okay. So this is a couple of our founders. I'm going to pull some founders up to talk, right? So Farah was one of our founders. She came in, her business was doing $100,000, right, before she came in. And in 10 weeks, she closed a $22K consulting deal from LinkedIn, 3 $5,000 consulting or coaching deals, and then a $24,000 client for consulting as well from LinkedIn in 10 weeks, using the exact same process I just walked you through. Half of her revenue for the entire year, right? She already did 100K, and then 10 weeks later, it took her 10 months to do 100K, 10 weeks to do half of that. Okay. Nate came into this program. He has 1,700 followers and closed the $15,000 3-month retainer ghostwriting for who? Real estate CEOs. Who's paying? The real estate CEOs. How much do they want to pay? $15,000. Well, Nate doesn't even have that many followers. Doesn't freaking matter. Nate knows what he's doing. He has a system, okay, that he sells. And if Nate does this long enough, he'll scale. This is Aoife. She closed a 10,000 pound speaking engagement with the NHS in 14 days from her first post in this program. She was originally charging $800, 800 pounds. And I told her, your price point is really just their budget. Whatever their budget is your price point, which is why we always follow the same process. Don't come in here, well, this is my price point. I charge $100. I charge $500. Okay, they're going to pay you $500, but what if they had 5,000? Understand who you're selling to. The NHS in London doesn't have $800 for training. They have 10,000 pounds. Okay? And then Ari closed a $3 million funding deal, $45,000 in one shot using LinkedIn. Ari, are you here? Where's Ari? Ari, throw your hand up for me in the speak button, and I'm going to call you on stage. I want you to just share a little bit about your journey here. If you are here, let's see if I can find Ari. 1 second. Ari, I need you to hit that little speak button on the bottom left. There you go. And then right after Ari, I want to talk to Susan. Okay. Susan's a fractional CMO. Okay. Everyone's using the same process that I'm about to call up, and they're all part of the accelerator right now, or were still part of the founder community. Okay, Ari, can you hear us? Let's see if Ari's going to jump in here.
Hi, Toby.
Hi, Ari. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Amazing. Okay, listen, can you tell people what your background was before we met, before you ever posted on LinkedIn?
Yeah, sure, Toby. So I'm a co-founder in the financial services space. I co-founded a microfinance bank in Nigeria before I moved to Canada. So I was the CEO of the company, and after I moved to Canada, I started my own funding business.
Amazing. So when you came and, what made you go like, okay, I should probably get on LinkedIn when you wanted to
Oh,
start getting clients?
yeah. So being new in Canada, I think I was already here for about 12 months or thereabout.
Mhm.
Um, so I thought of, hey, it'd be nice to build my personal brand. Obviously, I don't know too many people here in a new country, a new country, new space.
Yeah,
How do I get to know people? How do people get to know what I do, my background, who I am, what I can do for them? So I thought of LinkedIn, and that's how I stumbled upon your webinar and
yeah.
decided that this would be a great way to build my personal brand and get myself, known and
Okay.
tell people what I do. Yeah,
So what happened with your first post? Your first post ever, what happened?
it went viral. I had like 1,500 likes, almost 200,000 impressions. Yeah, it really blew out of proportion. I wasn't expecting it at all. Yeah,
Amazing.
and
And
that
then you
really
just
that
kept
really
posting.
opened doors. Yeah, I just kept posting every
Okay.
day. Yeah,
Amazing. And then what happened towards the end of last year that was like the big win?
and towards the end of last year, I got an opportunity from LinkedIn. Somebody I've never he hadn't even this person never liked my content or anything like that. I just got a call, a message saying that they had a deal they wanted to do, and it was a $3 million funding, and they were looking for someone to fund the deal, and it landed on my table, and I was able to fund the deal. I found lenders because I work with lenders.
Yeah.
I help people get their deals funded or their businesses funded. So I was able to get that funded, and I made $45,000 from
Amazing.
that
So
one
what
deal.
was the investment into like building your personal brand and going through the accelerator? What would you say like it was worth it to you? Like
I love it,
how
Toby.
yeah?
I love it. I've come to love it. It's part of me now. I mean, when I first started, how I told you, I was posting on LinkedIn, just randomly. But when I started, it just became something that, was really worth it because it gives you so much visibility. It gives you the ability to build your voice. I I never knew I could write so much. The program, going through the program got me thinking, writing your origin story, writing about things you've experienced, just putting your thoughts out there, and people will resonate with you. Even if it's one person, even if it's one like you have. Going through the program has really taught me that we're capable of so much more than we give ourselves credit for, really.
Amazing. I'm so proud of
Really.
you. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay.
And I recently closed the $15,000. I haven't announced that yet. I'll announce that later. I
Another
recently
one.
closed. I recently closed another deal where I made $15,000.
Amazing.
So
It's
amazing,
gonna keep
amazing,
happening.
life
You
changing.
built an incredible brand. You have what 5,000 followers on LinkedIn now.
Yes, yes,
Amazing.
5,000 and growing. Before that, I just had 1,000. So yeah,
Amazing.
it's been
Oh, listen,
amazing.
keep going.
Amazing.
Super proud of you. Well done.
Thank you, Joey. Thank you
Okay.
so much. All
So
right.
we're running a little bit behind, so I'm going to finish up first, okay, and then we'll talk to a few more people. But listen, that is like the case for so many people, right? Like coming in, some sort of experience, some sort of expertise. So understand that it takes the same energy to sell a high ticket offer, sometimes less, because you're selling to the right person and they're looking to invest. So you're just looking for people that are looking for you, okay? So there are three types of people that are still here, right? Like we're like right at the end, right? So three types of people are still here. We have some listeners that are frankly going to do nothing, okay? Like it happens all the time. I remember I did nothing with a lot of the free stuff I watched early in my journey. It was overwhelming, right? So we have some listeners going to do nothing. We have some builders who are, who I eventually became, people that just figured this out on their own, right? It took me 4 or 5 years to figure out, but I figured it out. Okay. And then we have what I call founders, right? And the thing that I've noticed with founders, the reason why I call my program the Founders Blueprint is because these are people that just want to invest in acceleration. Okay. Like this is just what they believe. They want to invest in acceleration, right? They believe in getting there faster and doing it faster, right? And getting better results and not wasting time, right? And so I'm just going to say that for the founders, I'm going to speak directly to you. If you're in that third group, you're like, listen, I know that this is probably able to be figured out, but I want to actually invest in moving faster. I want you to hear from Susan. Susan, are you here? If you're here, click that little speak button, okay? And I'm going to get you to hear from Susan, okay? And Susan's a fractional CMO, like I said, right? Very experienced, right? Wanted to go out on her own, started using LinkedIn. So you're going to hear from her, okay? And I know that, we're a little over time, but stay with me. Okay, we're going to take it home and I'm going to stay on, make sure I can get some questions answered. Okay. Hi, Susan. Can you hear us? We can't see you or hear you. Can you hear us, Susan? Can you see us? Okay. I'll give this a couple more seconds. No? Okay, I might have to bring Susan back. Susan, I need you to reboot and come back. I'm going to finish this, then I'll go to Kwanka, okay? Okay, Kwanka, are you here? Kwanka. Okay, let's see if, I know Susan's here. Let's see if Kwanka can get in here. Okay, hi, Susan.
Hi, I'm here now.
Amazing, and Kwanka's here too. So we'll do Susan, then Kwanka, okay? But Susan, what were you doing before you started, getting going on LinkedIn and, going on this entire journey?
So I had started my fractional CMO business, not with a ton of conviction or really realizing it could flourish into something. I kind of started it hoping it would work. And I was about probably 10 months in, had leveraged a lot of people that I knew in my network to get some business going, but then my pipeline was starting to dry up and my largest deal had just closed and ended. And I was thinking, oh no, now what? How am I going to find my next set of clients?
Okay. And so you decided to come to LinkedIn, and what was the mindset when you were like, okay, I should probably start going on LinkedIn?
Well, I had some success when I was an employee working at a bank. I just, randomly posted on LinkedIn here and there, and everyone kept saying, you're such a big advocate for the company, and I always see you on LinkedIn. And I was like, I wasn't even, really trying at that time, but people were noticing me with the very little I was doing like back in the day and thought it was so awe-shocking and amazing that I was posting on LinkedIn. And I was like, what if I actually like did it purposely and like shared stories and tried to meet new people? What would happen then if that little teeny bit that I was doing before was generating like interest and making people know me? So.
Okay, amazing. So you start posting on LinkedIn, you went through the accelerator, right? You're going through, and what started to happen, like, to your audience, to your brand, to your pipeline?
Yeah, it filled up actually really fast. And it was kind of amazing how it happened because it was, again, sort of like Ari said, from people I didn't even really know. I had someone I had met at a conference very, very briefly, like 2 minutes on a stairwell. I stopped the guy. I said, I love the company that he worked for. I said my name, went on my way. A year and a half later, he sends me a referral for a tech company looking for a marketing company. And he said, the referral connected with me through LinkedIn, said, yeah, this person had referred me to you. And I thought, oh my gosh, the guy I met in the stairwell for 2 minutes a year and a half ago referred a lead to me. So I messaged him. I said, well, thanks for sending that lead. That's amazing. If I'm not wrong, we met at that conference very briefly. And he's like, yes, I see you posting on LinkedIn all the time. So the second I heard this tech company saying they were hiring in marketing, I thought of you. And it was just boggling because I owed that guy nothing. We had met for 2 minutes. There was no connection, but he thought of me instantly. And to just have your name be brought up in rooms where you don't, you're not there to represent yourself, it's amazing that someone else is kind of advocating for you.
And you're top of mind, like, because you're creating content every day. So you're top of mind, right? So what was the revenue? Because I remember you closed like a big 16K deal while you were in Mexico, but how much did you say you've generated, since, I don't know, like September or whenever you started?
Yeah, I started in September and I probably really started posting seriously in about November. And I'm on 60,000 in deals and just close to 6K new deal last week with a new offer I'm putting out there and another one in the works. So it's been
amazing. Amazing. And so what would you say, anyone that's trying to get started, not sure if it's going to work, what were some of the hesitations that you wish you just got over faster?
Just caring if anyone talked about me posting on LinkedIn. I thought, oh, everyone's going to think, what is Susan doing on LinkedIn? She thinks she can drum up business. Just like those little voices in your head about people, making fun of you. And I realized I don't care. Yeah. I'm here to work for myself, build something I own. If I wanted to take the traditional path, I would have stayed with those people and done what they were doing and, gone into work every day 9 to 5. Sorry to anyone who's doing that, but that was not the life for me. And I'm trying to shape something different, and to get different results, you have to come about it and do it differently. So I just look at my results and I remind myself it's working for me. So it doesn't matter what other people say.
Amazing. Well, listen, I love that you shared your story, and thank you for making the time. I appreciate you.
Yes. Thanks, Toby.
Amazing. Okay. And then let's end with Kwanka. Okay. So Kwanka, took months. I always got to tell this story. Kwanka took months. He didn't believe this was going to work for him. Is it going to work? I've never posted. I have a job. I don't want my boss to know. Right. So you had this big battle before you got started. What do you feel was the point where you were like, you know what? I just need to give it a shot.
Yeah, and it's true. No, I was very reluctant. As a data scientist, my goal was to build my corporate career for the next 5 years and then start a consulting company. But I feel like that was too long. And Toby really helped me to understand that, hey, you know what? If you have an option to start now to reduce that timeline from 5 years to 2 years, try LinkedIn out. So I was, like you said, I was not really a big fan of LinkedIn. And LinkedIn was profile to just have, just in case you're applying for jobs, 500 followers, no posts for 10 years. And so posting on LinkedIn has really helped me drive the traction for my goals for consulting.
Amazing. So you had your initial business that you wanted to do, and then you pivoted.
Yes.
Because of the data that you were seeing, right?
Yes. So like you said, so the goal was consulting. So B2B, consult to customers, companies, do that analytics for them. I just started posting on LinkedIn about my story. Hey, I transitioned. I don't have computer background. I actually have engineering background. I struggled. These are my struggles. I transitioned into data science. I got a job. And people started connecting to me. Hey, Kwanka, I'm exactly where you are. I'm currently going through what you went through 3 years ago. Can you help me? Can you coach me? Can you mentor me? That was not in the picture. My picture was more, I was thinking of consulting, right? And guys came to me for coaching and mentorship. And I just say, Toby, this is what LinkedIn is saying. The data is saying this. And I transitioned to it. And that's what I'm doing right now.
We follow the data or the dollar. So you ended up going from zero, right, to, what are you at now? You can give us a range if you don't want to say, but in the last, I don't know how many months, right, from zero, impressions, followers, and revenue.
Yeah. So in the last 6 months, because I started around August, no impressions, crazy anxiety for posting on LinkedIn. Like, I had mad anxiety. I've been there for 10 years, 500 followers, and they're all from colleagues and students. I grew from 500 to 5,000. I currently have 5,000 followers now. 0 impressions to almost 400K impressions right now. I get DMs almost every day from students who are looking to learn from my journey and are interested for mentorship and coaching. Right, that is currently right now. So like you said, the first stage is your time. So I was doing one-on-one last year for the last 6 months, and it went so well. Like 90% of my students got jobs, and I just launched my cohort. Like I lost my cohort in February. I got 5 students signed up, and I'm currently working with them. So I've from August to now, I've made like 30K while keeping my 9 to 5.
Yeah, so that's the best part. You still have your data science job. You're basically giving yourself a $30,000 raise in profit. Right? So I'm honestly very proud of you, because I know how you had to overcome the battle of the mind to make this work. But would you say that this entire journey, getting out of your comfort zone, has been worth it?
Oh yes. Oh, Toby, like I really appreciate this program and you so much, because my plan was to retire corporate in 5 years. I had a plan. Now I can see it in 1 year. I can actually see myself during this. I can see myself retiring from corporate in December. Right? And it's so much credit to this program and the belief of this program and the work that I've been doing on LinkedIn.
Amazing. Well, listen, Konka, proud of you. Well done. Thank you for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Toby.
Okay, so we're going to take this to the close. I appreciate you staying with me and hearing these stories. So listen, they've talked about the Founders Blueprint. I just put up the link if you want to apply to the accelerator. Okay, you just need to apply using the link here in the right-hand side under offers, I believe, right? And so basically it's an 8-week accelerator, right? In the community of builders, these are some of my top students that you're seeing, right? Noah has a customer success accelerator. Christian does sales consulting. Ali does LinkedIn consulting. That's me. And then Rob is an accountability coach, scale his business very, very well using LinkedIn. And essentially what I do is I allow each person coming in to leverage the system that's generated more than $60 million for our founders. These are all real people, right? These are the revenues that they've generated. This is, what they do for business, their LinkedIn URLs, their current followings, their starting followings, okay? And $60 million in total revenue because we track everything, okay? And we get some really interesting people like Jean, who's now, she's been featured in Business Insider. If you Google Jean Kang, Business Insider, we built her program management consulting and coaching program together. She did $250,000 her first year and then became a Business Insider contributor, went from 20,000 connections on LinkedIn to now 150,000 followers on LinkedIn, millions of impressions, right? And so because she was able to do this, she was actually able to quit her full-time job at Figma, go full-time into her business, start traveling, doing more of what she loves, right? I think she's speaking at South by Southwest, right? And so she's built this incredible personal brand that has been really, really powerful. And I have another founder, Mo, who scaled his company, SkillHat, to over $1.5 million in revenue. And he actually sent this in one of the groups that I run, right? He said, we did more than 1.5 million in revenue this year. And a lot of our revenue came from building trust by following Toby's LinkedIn storytelling frameworks, okay? And so this is a system with a guarantee. Like these are people that have gone through over and over again. And so every quarter we select a handful of founders to join this 8-week accelerator. And we leverage all of this data on all of these people, all their wisdom and all of my wisdom, like 300 million impressions on LinkedIn. And we essentially go through an 8-week accelerator. It is literally an accelerator. It was very fast. And so we do 8 weeks, right? Set up foundations, tell your story with personal posts, learn how to create trending and viral posts, resourceful and testimonial posts. And then you go into validating, creating initial high ticket offers, right? Driving leads to those offers, converting those leads, and then scaling and automation, right? And so all the strategies, tactics, philosophies that help me generate over $2 million in revenue are all in this curriculum. And then we have a 100-point checklist for people building from scratch. Like this is a step-by-step on how to build a 6-7 figure business using LinkedIn, from starting from zero to your profile to everything else. right? And so we have that checklist. We have a playbook with all of my resources, content templates, Twitter screenshots, story frameworks, webinar guides, sales scripts, AI tools. All of that stuff is in there. And then we do 2 to 3 coaching sessions every single week with me and my most successful students, okay? You'll also have a content workbook to plan and review your content weekly, right? And you'll have viral examples from people like Kwanka and Susan and Ari to show you how normal people starting from scratch were able to create viral content. And then you'll be in our private Slack community that has founders, coaches, some of my alumni on Slack to help guide and support you daily. And I'll give you our high ticket closing script that every single founder, including Kwanka and Susan and Ari, all use. And then you get access to our entire AI infrastructure, which is the tools that help us create the content, the prompts that allow us to tie it all together and do it in 10 minutes. I saw someone ask about that, but just automating your sales process, your content creation, and how all of those things tie together. We've built an infrastructure for that. And so everything from creating content to building an offer to landing pages and even to sales scripts can now be done in a 10th of the time using AI. This will be your competitive edge in 2025 with this LinkedIn opportunity. So for those of you that are like, listen, I want the additional accountability. I want someone to work with me, right? You're also going to be given the option to be assigned a one-on-one coach, a founder coach who's come through this program. Dora scaled from 3,000. She was a 26-year IBM exec, right? And she quit her job because she replaced her income with LinkedIn, went from 3,000 connections on LinkedIn to 215,000 followers. If you look her up right now, Dora Vanderek, she's the #1 female creator on LinkedIn in the world. Okay, so she comes in, she's our content coach. Angela scaled her business to 20K a month using the system. She's a business coach. And then Melanie came out of this accelerator, did $30,000 in 90 days. Okay, and so you're going to have these coaches, and then you'll also have the final offer or tier where you can work with me one-on-one to craft your offer funnel. If you work in a company, I work with law firms, architects, all sorts of different companies that come through the accelerator, and we have a one-on-one approach. They can add their teams, right? And we can build something more robust. And so people have come through and this has worked for them, right? I showed you Chandler earlier. He built a $3,700 offer for realtors or, for real estate professionals transitioning into commercial real estate. Sakina works full-time at Shopify, quietly building a consulting company for startups in the revenue operations space. She has 2,000 followers and is closing full payment for clients, right? And then Jim is one of our highest earning clients, right? He has 2,700 followers only, right? Look at his background, right? Sun Microsystems, co-founder, managing partner, chief operating officer, chief strategy officer, wanted to own his own time and build a consulting and coaching offer. He has 3 different offers. One of them is a 6-figure offer for companies, right? Like I'm talking not like 100K, like multiple 6 figures, right? And it is incredible to watch normal people with extraordinary experience learn how to monetize that at scale. So I figured this out on my own, which means that you can figure it out on your own too. I wanted to be very clear about that. Feel free to say no at any time. You're under no pressure or duress, right? The people that we work with simply believe in investing in their own acceleration and development, right? Like Farah, she said this, right? She said, I spent over 100K in coaching over the last 3 years. This is someone that just believes in this. She spent over 100K in coaching, and this is by far the best investment I've ever made in a program, okay? And like I said, she did 50,000 in 10 weeks. So over the next 2 years, this is what everyone, my mom wanted me to do an MBA. You have two options in the next 2 years. By 2027, okay, or whenever it is, 2 years from now, you could have learned how to use the Founders Blueprint and build a business using the system and what we've preached and taught that has generated 60 million, or you can go invest $100,000 into an MBA and then start building in 2027, right? Probably with outdated information, right? But understand that this is something that is now. You can build a business in today's world for 1/10 of the investment of an MBA and 1/10 of the time that it takes to execute on it, okay? So as long as you have the mindset, the ability to execute, and the willingness to follow a system, this will work for you. And here's the cool thing. This is the current cohort that we're going through right now. We're halfway in and people have 100,000 impressions in 28 days. 28 days, 521,000 impressions in 28 days, right? In the 8 weeks, signing clients, getting their first lead, $10,000 in revenue, $17,000 in revenue, right? Because it's not about you. It's about the opportunity on LinkedIn and the visibility of your content, right? And now what's really cool is we have a directory of all of our founders, services, and companies. So they all leverage each other, right? Like I have people in the program using lawyers in the program, right? And using programs in the program to accelerate their own businesses. They're getting customers and partners within the program, within the accelerator, okay? And so we have this incredible community and agencies and, coaches and consultants. We refer each other. So here's what I'm going to do for the next cohort. I'm going to be giving away 3 bonuses that we have never given away before, okay? And we're going to be giving it away only to the people that select tier 2 and tier 3, okay? So there's 3 tiers: tier 1 support, tier 2 support, tier 3 support, okay? So for those that select tier 2 and tier 3, I'm going to show you the 3 tiers. Here's what you're going to get. We're going to actually build this for you. I have a designer in-house. He's going to design your cover photo, your content, your entire design system so that you can create content even faster. The landing page for your newsletter is going to have the same brand, same logo. We're going to cut through the noise. I don't want you spending too much time in Canva if you're in tier 2 or tier 3. This is stuff that takes time to build a brand that is recognizable, right? So just like my friend, Dr. Mirobara here, you're going to have a consistent brand for your carousels, your cheat sheets, all your content, okay? You're going to get a one-on-one review and rewrite of your content for the first 2 weeks of the accelerator with Dora, with myself, where we are literally giving you not just like, hey, this is what to make it better, but like, no, this is how this sentence doesn't drive leads. This is what you need to say if you're going to drive leads. This is the CTA to push towards if you're going to drive leads, okay? And then here's the ultimate cheat code. Dora and I, with our 550,000 combined followers, are going to engage with your content every day during the 8-week program. Now, how LinkedIn works is if I like your post, it shows it to my audience. And if Dora likes your post, it shows it to her audience. And so you're getting thousands of eyeballs that you don't have to go hustle for because we're going to build it in, right, to your offer. Now, this isn't for everyone. Like I said, we only get, I think we select like 6 to 8 people out of the 120 plus or something that apply every time we run one of these. And then finally, I'm going to do a private one-on-one session with me where I share 3 strategies that helped us hit our $1 million year. Okay. And so for tier 2 and tier 3, right, here's what you need to understand. There's a difference between spending and investing. The first time I ever paid for an accelerator program, coach, whatever it is, was November 3rd, 2020, right here. I have been trying to run businesses for years. Okay. And you can see the acceleration. 2021, I did 168,000 in revenue. 2022, I did 330,000 in revenue while working full time. 2023 is when I quit my job, 402,000 in revenue. And then 2024, we did $1 million in revenue. And this is what the difference is between investing and spending. I've invested $80,000 into getting good at what I do, into accelerating instead of getting here at 40 or 35, I was able to get here at 30. I'm still 30, and we've done so much for my family that it is like, there are things we'll never worry about again. And with business, you only need to be right once. So there is a difference between spending and investing. And so that's what all these founders chose to do. They chose to invest, which is why they've been able to generate $60 million in combined revenue, right? And so we receive 120 applications every single week. Like if I open our dashboard, it's just my team screening through applications, right? And our job is really just to find and screen and accept 8 to 12 founders who intentionally want to invest in their acceleration and development using this blueprint, right? That's literally all that we're trying to do, is find the right people. So you can apply by yourself using the link, right? It has all the details in there. So you can apply by yourself, using the link, okay? Or my team is also going to be reaching out to every single person to see if you're a good fit. And the reason why is because we actually have a lot of great founders that self-disqualify. It happens every single time we run this, right? And so you're going to get a message. You're going to get a call. I'm telling you right now, okay? I'm telling you right now, you're going to get a message. You're going to get a call, right? And really, it's because a lot of founders self-disqualify. So we had this founder, Julia, like I talked to you about. She literally posted, I never thought I could be an entrepreneur. She was a lifelong career person, okay? And now she scaled her business to $800,000 in 16 months. She has a post that had 77,000 likes and another post that has 85,000 likes, okay? And she scaled to 800,000 in 16 months, 50,000 followers in those 16 months using this system, okay? Now she gets featured in podcasts, speaks at conferences. And then when I was building this program, I was talking to her because she hit her 50,000 followers, right? And I'm still in touch with almost every single one of my founders. You know, she's a mom of 4. She's still finding time to make this work. And she goes, you know, I had an agent reach out to me about a book deal. So she's now going to be an author because she has been posting on LinkedIn daily. They're working on a proposal. She's like, tell that to your class. You know, so she wanted me to tell all of you that this not just works, but it is literally an accelerator that has life-changing capability. So here's what's going to happen. You click the button, you're going to go through an application, your email, your full name, your phone number, your LinkedIn URL, and then it's going to ask you a couple questions like what country you're located in, to describe your offer, right? And then it's going to ask you how much your business is currently generating, if any, how much you want to be generating, right? And then what your main motivation is behind the goal that you have and why we should consider you for the accelerator. Then you need to decide, okay, is this something I want to commit to time-wise, energy-wise? And then it's going to give you the 3 tiers to walk through. And what are the 3 tiers? You have tier 1, which is the cohort only, right? 8-week program, the Slack community, the video curriculum, the 2 to 3 group coaching calls, and then the AI infrastructure. Then you have tier 2, which includes a one-on-one coach, Dora, Angela, Mel, right? So you have a one-on-one coach, everything in tier 1, right? You get a custom banner done for you by our designer, content reviews with your one-on-one coach, offer structuring with your one-on-one coach, and then sales support with your one-on-one coach. And then in tier 3, because they're big companies and you know everyone's different, you get 4 one-on-ones with me. You can add your team. If you are a company, you can add your team up to 3 people, right? You get daily engagement from me and Dora. We'll audit your funnel and your offer. You'll have a private Slack channel with support from me and Dora and the team. And then you'll have the entire custom brand design for you, top to bottom. Okay, and we're just going to skip that entire step and just build based on the data that we've seen of the best brands on LinkedIn. And so once you submit your application, all you need to do is book a screening call right away. Okay, we only open up X number of slots. I'm not sure how many, but over the span of like 2 or 3 days, Sunday, Saturday, doesn't matter. Open up a bunch of slots, limited to for I think 3 days. Okay, and then I have some testimonials that you can watch once you've put and picked your time to speak with my team. Okay, and if you're accepted and choose to get started and join the next intake for the cohort for the accelerator, you're going to receive a welcome video, an onboarding form right away, and then you're going to get access to my 6-hour LinkedIn Blueprint course for free, which is usually $400, and my reading list to immediately get started. Okay, and so all you need to do is, again, apply using the button on the side there. Okay, and finally, you're going to get added to the pre-launch call or the launch call, depending on what date that you start. And then we give Slack and curriculum access 1 week before kickoff. 1 week before kickoff. Okay, so listen, I have come to the end of this presentation, and I've also ran out of minutes for this presentation. So essentially what we're going to do is, if you're thinking about this, I need you to click the link to apply to the accelerator. Okay, I just need you to click the link to apply to the accelerator. Okay, And essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to send a different link right now in the chat for anyone that, has some questions. And I'm going to move over to Zoom and do a very quick Q&A. Okay, I'll answer any questions that you have. I'll do a quick Q&A over there on Zoom. Okay, and I'm going to share the link here so that we can do it. So again, this is not for everybody. I know it's not for everybody. Okay, what I want is for people that want to accelerate their own journeys, right? To come through, use what we teach, and be able to move as fast as possible. Okay, so here's where the Q&A is going to be happening. Okay, please apply if you believe that you might be a good fit. Okay, and I'm going to move over to the Q&A on the Zoom. If you just apply what I've taught you today, you will be able to change your life, just like I changed my life. I changed my life with a lot of free information. Okay, and so I'm very grateful that you've taken the time, okay, to join this. Okay, and here's all. Okay, and so I'm very grateful. All right, so I want to make sure that as you come in, and if you're joining the Q&A, but just understand that this is one of those things that you can use and you can absolutely start to implement. Make your first posts. Okay, thank you for taking the time. I hope you apply if this has been good for you, and I will see you all very soon. Okay, have a good evening. Bye.